Good morning once again. If you're tuning in, this is KBC Channel 1. In the headlines, we were just sampling the stories that have been making headlines in the last 24 hours as prepared by our news desk, as well as the various dailies that we have with us in studio. So we were highlighting about Tufrena Aswani's situation there, a lady who December last year was, killed the husband there in self-defense and was sentenced to one day in prison. And in the judgment, Justice Roslyn Aburiri noted that she was a survivor. She had been butchered, battered, dehumanized, and violated, and had lost her voice. It was quite unfortunate that this particular altercation led to the death of her husband. But it was a matter of time, so to speak, if you look at the scars that she had had over the years. And it was either her or the man eventually. Just turned out that Mr. Obochi is the one who succumbed to injuries after he came up upon her home and threatened to behead her if she did not hand over the land documents that he said he wanted to sell. So in defense, the panga that he was planned to, or rather the man wanted to use on her, she in turn managed to wrestle it from his hands and knocked him over with it. Unfortunately, he succumbed. 16 days of activism began last week. We're talking about why is gender violence, especially during this last few months, actually the year 2020 to date, the cases have been on an increase, and they have not been an isolated case in per region, but they have caught across board in as far as the social strata is concerned. Madam O, Doreen Arange.
Struggle with the prefix, but nonetheless.
We are struggling. We are not so sure. Anyway, you remain a brand as Doreen Arange.
Nonetheless.
Oh yes, you are a brand. What is your take in regard to this? With this in this day and age, this 21st century, we're talking about men hitting women, women hitting men. It's a crazy world altogether. What's your take?
Well, while you're reading that article, I think there's just one part that my mind stuck at, and this was the part where you mentioned that this lady was not able to give birth for a while, up until she was able to conceive a son for this man, and that she actually loved Mr. Obochi, and because also of giving him a son, she felt, let me stay. And it occurred to me, how many women or even just men out there are staying in relationships, difficult marriages, just to prove a point. I just want to prove to you that actually I'm in a marriage. Somebody said that marriage is not by force, it's not by fire. It's not a step that you actually, when you know, like the way we go to primary, high school campus, so now you get married, now you feel it's not an achievement. Marriage is not an achievement. It's not necessarily a step. You need not be there just to prove a point, because I can tell you for sure, many people are in, a good number of persons are in this, so to speak, devastating relationships, devastating marriages, but just because of where they are in society or what they got or what they're getting from it, they'll choose to stay there just to prove a point. And we keep saying all the time, anytime we have a conversation on relationships and marriages, we keep saying, especially if it has something to do with your life, imagine it's not worth it. It's not, because it's not an achievement. So you being there, and then you end up losing your life regardless of who it is. So who's telling the story? Who's telling the story?
What Doreen is saying is quite sound. And from what you said is that the gentleman in the picture here has a record, or had a record, of violence in his past relationship.
Yes.
So
2 wives even left.
Exactly. Two women left him because of such. So perhaps it was just a matter of habit. He had that habit of, you know, what Jain would say, is it a narcissist? And somebody who would want to sit on your head intentionally, ukijaribu kuinua kichwa anakugonga, go down there, do not say a word. And when you look at such people, in their brains, they tend to take women as, okay, as weak as
they objectify women. Let's just go with that.
Exactly. So you are just supposed to be seen. If I hear you say a word, I'll beat you. I don't think that is the way to go, because even in the Bible, God had a communication with man. So communication is key either way. You understand? And the reason why now the judge went ahead and said, I'm going to jail for just 1 day, because of the evidence that was adduced before the court. Court of justice will always work on evidence. If this guy had this is the third lady that was suffering in his hands. So you can imagine, kama huyu msichana nangekufa, angejitetea wapi? You get what I'm saying? Yes. So it's unfortunate the guy lost his life, but he was in the process of killing that lady. So in case, as I said, in an event of a self-defense,
neutralize the
threat,
source of danger.
That's it.
It's either me or you.
Fight,
just like a
flight or fright. Freeze.
Now, but Victor, why do you have to get that point, whether it's either me or you? I mean, by the time you are actually, it's too much. The violence is just, and this is kitu imekuwa repeated. Si ati ni 1 time, 2 time. It's actually repeated. Why does he have to get that point, whether it's either me or you?
Yeah.
You know,
it's not necessary.
The sad thing is, and arguably so, times have changed, but it is still so deep-seated that so many people are taught, once you get married, pambana na hali yako. Through thick and thin, pigana na kila kitu. Hata mupigane,
And women are told, please fight your battles on your knees. I'm like, good Lord.
And well, that is a factor.
Yes, you know, it is. But it's not, what I'm trying to say is, someone hits you today. No, I'm just being very honest.
That is like a freno. Like okay.
I'm imagining, look at this Trufena Aswani situation. If she had gotten down on her knees and started praying, we would be talking about something else altogether. Her head should have been decapitated. But she defended herself. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
However, you find that women, especially when they're dealing with marital issues, you'll find other women encouraging them, wewe hata wako ni mzuri. Alikuchapa tu hivo. Yani you're like, you need, in as much as we say we fight our battles on our knees, it is good to always pray for your family, not just your husband. Pray for your husband. Pray for your children.
Regina, you know,
I'm not saying playing. Pray even for your nuclear family and extended family. However, we need to bite the bullet when it becomes too much, unstable for you, for your children, whether you have them or even in the future. Please.
You know what, Regina?
Get out.
It becomes, I really don't, for a woman to get violent to an extent anaua bwanake. You can imagine alifika wapi.
That's it.
But then again,
because where did you get that energy from as a woman to clobber your man, your husband, to death?
Well, that is,
as in that lady alifika point of no return. It was just like, man, it's
that
enough.
That is as a result of too much violence happening.
It's enough.
But then again, also, have we thought of that culture bit? Because even as we talk about the violence and beatings, do we remember that there are some women who would say, for me, beating is a love language. Mimi kama hanichapi, hanipendi. Have we forgotten that aspect of culture?
Conversation. Victor, as we take a break,
I say
when you talk about gender-based violence,
note, on what Doreen just said,
some people actually are like that.
They enjoy the situation, but
some do
until they're dead, until they're dead or they're maimed. That's when it hits home. That wasn't love.
The bottom line is,
there's so many
Regina,
factors.
Maze violence
is a no-no. Niko na swali, Victor.
Yeah.
Whenever we talk about gender-based violence, we really focus on the women aspect.
Yeah.
I would want to hear your take when it comes to men being on the receiving end. Because also men experience gender-based violence. I don't know if that's a conversation that Jain is going to be roping in, but even as we proceed, remember, this is an open platform. You can get us on Twitter. On our KBC official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. We have a Doreen Arange, at Ray Manyara, at Jain Wambui, and at Victor Oloo. What is your take when it matters gender-based violence, especially for men out there? Are you aware that it can actually happen to you? And if it did, where would you seek help, or what would you do? I'm Regina Manyara. Now we will be crossing over to the other side and find out how our major roads are looking like this Monday morning, despite the cold showers and such. We all know, I don't know, between traffic and there's always a correlation between traffic and the rain.
There is a merger.
Just like whenever it rains, you're bound to lose power, electricity. Doreen, to you.
There's a relationship, there's a merger, there's everything.